Hey there, welcome to another slightly rednecked video. Going to be working in the kitchen today, as you can tell, and I'm going to be cutting a rabbit up, getting it ready to cook. I had a viewer request that I do a video on this, so just so happens I'm having rabbit for dinner tonight, so it works out pretty well. So stick around, we'll get right to it. Okay, so I've got my rabbit here. I'm going to try to do as much as I can from this angle right here with the camera working in front of me. Maybe a little bit tricky, but I think it'll give you a better view of what's going on here. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the front legs. These are pretty easy to remove. I mean, if you pick up on it a little bit, you can see there's a natural indentation right there, and also right up at the top if you just put your finger behind the bone. And that's basically all we're going to do, is we're just going to cut it off right there. So, oh boy, I need to sharpen my knife a little bit. And that's it. Just follow the bone around, and it comes right off. If we have a sharp knife, it comes right off. My knife is kind of dull right now. There we go. Good grief, that was tough. I need to sharpen my knife. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to just, again, pick the leg up there. You can just fit the knife right under the bone, and then you can just trim it right off. So make sure you don't cut yourself. I'm not doing very safe here, but you get the idea how it works. There we go. Front legs are off. Now I'm going to work on the back legs. So again, these are pretty easy too. If you just kind of take the rabbit, you can see where the legs are, where the leg cuts. You're just going to cut around that normal joint in the leg there, right up against the backbone. So it's pretty simple to do. You can feel the bones in there, feel where they are, and I'm just going to follow that around. So right here, cut right there, and then on the top, there's a little bit of a joint in there. Let me get cut through here and I'll show you that. This is tricky to do from this angle, but hopefully it helps out with the filming. Gives you an idea of how to do that. So there's a bone right there. You probably can't see it, but there's a bone right there. I'm just going to follow that bone and cut the leg all the way down. Now what I'm down to is there's a little bit of a joint in there. You can't see it probably on camera, but you can feel it with your finger. That's the only thing really holding this leg on. So if I twist a little bit and pop it, it comes right off. That's all I gotta do for that leg. Now let's take this leg off. I'm gonna do it the same way. Again, I'm just gonna follow the bone around. I'm gonna do that the same thing on the other side. There's the bone right there that I'm following. Once I've got it curved around, then again, I just pop it. Oh, I didn't cut through. Just pop it and it should come right off. There we go. You can trim that up a little bit if you want to take that off, but that's it on the legs. Now this part from, you can see where the rabbit changes. Maybe you can tell. There's where the meat is, and from here on about back, or here back, it's not, there's not a whole lot of meat in there, so I'm just going to take that off. So best way to do that is just hit it with something hard. If you've got a rolling pin, something like that, you can do that with that. I'm going to just try to bang through it with my hands. There we go. Now that can go into the stockpile. There's not much there. Now a lot of people will leave the belly flaps on. What I do is I tend to trim them off, and pretty easy. All I'm going to do, let me turn this over. All I'm going to do is basically cut it down the ribs. You can see the ribs right there. So I'm going to grab it up here at the top, and then just kind of follow it around, or cut it away from the body. Good grief, my knife's getting dull. I need to sharpen it. There, I hit ribs. There we go. If you got a sharp knife, this will be a lot easier. So there's the belly flap. Now you can save those, make jerky out of them. Makes a good jerky. So same thing here. I'm just going to find where the ribs are. I'm going to cut through there, follow it all the way down to the body, and then it pretty much just comes right off, just like you would expect it to. There's my two belly flaps. Okay, so now we're left with this right here. So I'm going to work my way up here. Oh, I don't know, about the second rib right there. You can see the ribs. Let me turn it over so you can see. Probably the second, third rib. You can kind of tell where the meat of the body ends, and then on the top, right about in there, you don't have a whole lot of meat past that part right there. So right about second rib, and I'm just going to cut through the belly flap that way and cut through on this side. There we go. It's kind of hard to do on camera from this angle. And then I'm going to cut the rabbit off right there. And to cut through the bone, a couple of good whacks. There we go. I've got it separated out. Now this section here, I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces. You could do 3, 4 pieces, however many you want. But I like to do it in 3 pieces, so I'll cut it right there. I'll cut it right there, and that will give me 3 pieces. So let me do that real quick. Oh, I really need something a little bit stronger than my hand to do this with. There we go. So there's one. One more time. There we go, that worked out pretty well. And there's my 3 pieces right there. Now there's one more thing. You could just throw this whole thing in the stockpile right here. There's not a lot of meat on the sides right here, but there are these 2 loins that run right along the backside right here, and they're pretty good eating. What I like to do is I cut them off and I save them up until I get a whole bunch of them, and then you make like chicken nuggets out of them basically, because they're pretty much the best part of the rabbit. So to get those off, I'm going to find the backbone. It's right here, and I'm just going to cut right along the backbone. If I can hold this on camera and do this at the same time, you'll hit a bone. So just cut down to that bone. And as you start to lay that open, you'll just kind of, boy, it's hard to explain. It's easier to do than it is to explain. There's another bone series that runs right along there. You can feel it with your finger when you run your finger across there. So I'm going to cut a little bit right there at that bone. Kind of scrape the rabbit up a little bit, and then cut at that bone. And then you can just kind of work that piece of meat out of there is what I do. And usually, if you just kind of follow the bone down, it will come right out. And then just one piece. And I know I made that look kind of clumsy, but it's actually a lot easier and it's kind of intuitive. It's just, like I said, you just follow the bone along. You've got a nice loin right there, and then there'll be another one on the other side, and I'll do the same thing right there. And like I said, I know I made that look kind of clumsy because I'm working on at a weird angle to try to get this on film for you, but it's really a lot easier than what I made it look like. So again, you can see a good picture of the loin. There's the loin. That's what we're taking out right there. So I'm just going to kind of find that bone that runs right along there. Run my knife there, scrape it up a little bit, cut again, and then I should be able to just kind of pull that out of there. I left a little bit of meat behind. I didn't do the best job, but you kind of get the idea. And there we go. There's the other loin. So this will be stock. This piece right here will be stock. And then I'm left with, let me set this stuff to the side. There we go. Left with 2 legs, 2 front legs. My belly flaps over here. There's my loins. And you got these nice meaty pieces right here. These are fantastic. Really good eating right here. All right, so hopefully that helped you out a little bit. The viewer that requested this, her name is Deborah Whaley. She's a friend of mine from a Facebook group as well. And she said that she had watched a couple of videos and they just made it look too easy. And she thought that, well, it can't be that easy. She wanted me to go ahead and give a video on this to break it down, make it look, well, hopefully I didn't make it look too easy. It was a little bit complicated working with a camera in front of me, working with a knife that's not quite sharp enough. I need to sharpen that up, of course. But really, when you get in and you start doing it, it's not that hard. It's considerably easier than I made it look. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the subscribe button below. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the technique that I'm using here. If you have a different technique that you use, or if you'd like to see other content on this channel, let me know. I'd be happy to provide those for you. So thanks for watching, and as always, God bless.